Today is the 9th of June 2014. A very good Monday afternoon to you and welcome to this edition of Lunchtime News. I'm Katharina Chang. Let's take a look at your headlines. Youth volunteers to be recruited for dengue eradication programs. 6 treasure hunters arrested in Min area. Gunfire reported at the Karachi airport even after Pakistan's army claimed it had regained control. National Pusun Week commences today. Now on to those stories in detail. Gunfire has reportedly resumed at Karachi airport after last night's attack by gunmen, which left 23 people dead and a number of others injured. The army says that the 10 gunmen stormed the airport in 2 teams of 5 last night. They threw grenades and fired at security guards in the terminal used of VIP flights and cargo. 7 of the attackers were later shot dead during the gun battle that lasted until about 4:30 a.m. local time. Another 3 detonated the explosives. A gun battle between the gunman and army commander lasted more than 5 hours. Initial reports suggested some of the gunmen were foreign nationals. The army, which had earlier said it had retaken control of Jinnah International Airport's old terminal, stated that all 10 attackers had been killed. Most of the dead terminal staff were airport security guards. Commenting on the incident, the Chief Minister of Sindh Province, Kaimar Shah, said the attackers were all well trained. All operations at the terminal remain suspended and all flights are being diverted to other airports. Staff and passengers were early evacuated. At least 14 people were wounded. The dead terminal staff was said to be mostly security guards from the Air Force Security Force, but also airline workers. The attackers were also believed to have entered the area using fake ID cards. Other reports suggest they cut through a barbed wire fence. No group has so far claimed responsibility for the assault.
For a job well done.
Now, meanwhile, Sri Lankan Airlines flight UL138 from Colombo to Karachi, Pakistan, that was due to depart at 1 p.m. this afternoon, has been cancelled following the attack on the Karachi airport. Sri Lankan Airlines Public Relations Manager Deepa Pereira noted that while they have been informed that the Karachi airport has been temporarily closed, flights will resume once the airport reopens. Now on to other local news. The Western Province Ministry of Health has taken measures to recruit youth volunteers for dengue eradication programs. The Provincial Minister of Health, Ranjit Somavansa, says the recruits will function as extras to the existing dengue task force.
In addition to the dengue task force, we have granted approval for youth to be recruited for the volunteer organizations. We have invited the relevant MOH divisions and the divisional secretariats to recruit the youth volunteers they need. The current task force is not large enough. Given the situation we are facing, we need to be able to deploy the teams throughout the province all at once. We will be giving the volunteers a small allowance. This allowance will be about 500 rupees.
The Ministry of Health has deployed 40 teams to combat the spread of dengue in the Colombo district. The director of the epidemiology unit, Dr. Paba Paliyavadana, says that these teams are being used to fumigate at risk areas. The Ministry of Health says that 12,322 dengue patients have been reported thus far this year. District-wise, the highest number of patients were reported from the Colombo district with 4,518. 2,031 patients have been reported from the Gampar district, while 892 patients have been reported from the Kalthura district.
Meanwhile, showers or thundershowers could develop in several areas in the island, including the western, Sabaragamu and central provinces, and also the Gaul and Matra districts. Duty meteorologist Ajit Vijayamana elaborates further.
There will be showers or thundershowers at times in the western, Sabaragamu and central provinces and in the Gaul and Matra district, and heavy falls more than 75 mm are also likely at some places. Showers may extend to northwestern province too. Thundershowers will develop at several places in the Uva, north central and eastern provinces during the afternoon or evening. Fairly strong winds expected along the western slopes of the central hills at times. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by lightning activities.
6 treasure hunters who engaged in an unauthorized excavation in a garden in Katikuliava Min area have been arrested. Our reporter says that the group was arrested by the Min area police last evening.
The treasure hunters had undertaken this excavation in the guise of digging a well at a garden in Katukeliava. The police said the raid was carried out based on a tip-off. Among the 6 who were arrested was a woman. The suspects hail from Panadura, Pothuhera, Kurunagala, Mahava, Dematagola and Lindula. The police have also seized equipment used in the excavation and items that appeared to be intended for a ritual of sorts. The suspects are to be produced before the Hingurakoda magistrate today.
Archaeologists have taken steps to conduct further research on outer city in Polonnaruwa. The expedition will be spearheaded by the Professor Prashant Gunawardana of the Department of Archaeology at the Calania University and Professor of Archaeology Robin Cunningham from the University of Durham, England. Now speaking to Newsfirst, Professor Prashant Gunawardana elaborated further on the aim of the expedition.
Last 6 years, University of Calania, along with University of Durham, under the leadership of Professor Robin Cunningham and myself, we carried out research on Anuradhapura hinterland. At the moment, we have finished this research program. Now we are going to pay our attention to the start new program in Polonnaruwa, because Polonnaruwa played a vital role during the 11th century AD. So, as an archaeologist, we are going to test the model of the Polonnaruwa in comparison with the model of the Anuradhapura hinterland, what we have finished recently.
On other local news, a woman died in an accident which took place this morning in Panadura along the Gore Road.
Our correspondent stated that the accident occurred at around 6:30 this morning. The deceased, who was from Nallurua, was a victim of a hit and run. The van in question was travelling from Colombo to Kaluthura. The deceased is a 82-year-old mother of 3. Her body is currently lying at the Panadura Base Hospital.
National Pusun Week begins from today. Pusun celebrations will be centered around Anuradhapura, Mihintale and Tantiramale until the 15th of this month. The chairman of the Pusun Committee, Anuradhapura District Secretary Mahinda Senaviratna, stated that devotees will be accommodated with the necessary facilities.
Chief Minister of the province S.M. Ranjit stated that 14 schools situated in close proximity to places of worship in the Anuradhapura area have been closed in view of Pusun Week. The police headquarters added that a special security plan will be in place during this week. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rona stated that 5,000 police officers will be on duty. The police request the public to exercise caution when bathing in lakes in the Anuradhapura area. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Pusun Committee, Mahinda Silva, requested devotees to engage in religious observances with respect. He added that measures were taken to close all meat shops and liquor stores in Anuradhapura district in view of Pusun Week.
Now all preparations have been made for a special broadcast of our breakfast news bulletin, Primetime Sunrise, live from Sigiriya at 7 a.m. tomorrow. We invite our viewers to join us as for a novel television experience.
The ancient kingdom of Sigiriya was established by King Kashyapa I in the 5th century Anno Domini. Sigiriya holds pride of place as a creation that encompassed the architecture, landscaping and irrigation technology that existed in Sri Lanka in the 5th century AD. In 1982, Sigiriya was declared a World Heritage Site. Research conducted thus far has brought to light 8 eras of habitation in Sigiriya. The mirror wall and the frescoes, which attract enthusiasts and tourists from far and wide across the globe, are 2 prominent features of the Sigiriya rock. Tomorrow, Newsfirst will bring Sigiriya to your home at 7 a.m. on Primetime Sunrise.
And on that note, we conclude this edition of Lunchtime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Katharina Chang. Have a lovely day ahead.